Alright, begin. Sort of, I guess. So, how are you doing, Internet? I'm Bunnies. Welcome back to SEO, or welcome to Star Trek Online if this is your first time seeing it. We're currently here with Evanel, one of my Romulan Republic officers, who I had been working on before for one of my story arcs, which will be on YouTube sometime later. But I am here to explain a challenge which I am casting out to the ladies of VShojo, which is basically who can make a bridge crew out of all the characters who resemble all the other ladies of VShojo. First, I should change up my settings. I don't think I did. It's still on the default, which is minimums. So definitely I recommend also doing this. Star Trek Online is a free-to-play MMO, and you don't have to pay a cent into it under its current business model. You can get most things, if not as part of the game, then by exchanging dilithium for... This is kind of slow. Very slow. Did the Windows update again? Is that what I'm seeing? Because if I have to restart the stream again because of the recent update, it is going to at least get. There's another tailor in this room, I guess. Those are officers, but they'll be important too. Around the game, you'll be able to. Those are duty officers. For bridge officer trainers, they can give you the manuals for skills so that you can change things around for your bridge officers. For later, you earn bridge officers as rewards for things that you do in the game. And there are also a few other ways that you can get them, such as part of events. But mostly they're for things that you do in the game as you accomplish them. So around here, for the Romulan faction, the tailor is here. So you would go to customize clothing, and there's a section for you, as well as for all of your bridge officers. And you can customize any bridge officer apart from the holographic ones, like Dr. Bashir and Lita. But everyone else, you can customize their physical appearance, you can customize their clothing. The only things that you can't change on your bridge officers are their genders, races, and their career paths. So if they're already tactical, they will stay tactical. If they're already male, they will stay male. And there are some which you will get as standard, and others which you have the choice for. So for Romulan, everyone gets Tovan, Kev, etc., Beryl, and Heathen. So for the sake of the challenge, you can swap out later bridge officers so that you can include other ones. And of course, for yourself, well, ladies, you'll be able to customize a character to look like you, but I won't be able to do that. And you'll get various outfits as well. If this wants to catch up to me, it froze. But you can customize not only their outfits, but body proportions, shapes, basically everything, although you will find issues with things like hair color, because you can't do more than one hair color. Skin, and you got down here eyes, so for the iris outside and the inside, you've got eyebrow color, and hairstyle, you've only got one color that you can assign. So probably you would go with your most dominant hair color, or maybe the one that's most unusual. That's up to you. But the point is to try to create and customize characters that look like yourself and the other ladies of VShojo, and put them onto your bridge crew, your active bridge crew, which is 4 other characters who can do stuff with you. In the grand missions, in the space missions, it will vary how many seats there are available on your bridge, but you can see by the sliders here, this is just for the head. I'm going to have to roll back the update for sure. This is for the body, so you have all this torso stuff there, arms, hands, legs, feet. And then the last tab is uniform, so you can change what they're wearing as well. So you can create different outfits as well in the game. I gave her a more standard uniform, something from the formal, something that she can use to trick the Borg, her formal uniform and look, in more of a Federation look. This is the Khitomer Alliance uniform for her. And her name is Evonel, and her design is kind of based on the character from the Legend of Drizzt series, which I do a lot. I do a lot of basing things off of Drizzt. So these are all her current bridge officers. But the main reason why I'm here right now is to show you. So these are the bridge officer candidates that I have there. You also have them in the roster. Not there. Have to go here. Go to stations. You can see that my current starship for her, which is this, has 5 seats, not just 4. So you can use more than 4 officers in some starships if you have the seats for them. But on your away teams for the ground missions, you can only use 4. And you also have the opportunity to get more slots for all the different characters so that you can add more. However, there are very limited slots, so you may end up needing to dismiss some of them, which you'll find under your options discharge. I wouldn't recommend it, but that option is there. You can see here that there are two different icons, and they say Starfleet Tactical Bridge Officer there, or RF Engineering Bridge Officer. Those are the faction designations, and because Evenel is Starfleet aligned, she can use Starfleet officers as well as Romulan officers. So that will affect things based on which faction you choose. I wouldn't really recommend going for straight Klingons, since those have a lot of Born, which are the lizard ones. I suppose you could use that for Zen, if you wanted to, for Gecko Zen. But the Nausicaans, they're just not pretty in any. But in any case, one thing you'll be interested to get character, you'll have enough character slots to make one character for more than just one character for every faction, but you can always get more. You'll probably want shared bank slots to share across, but here are some bridge officer slots which you can get, which will be very useful, as well as, well, maybe add for the slots, maybe not. You'll probably want the cap increase if you end up playing for longer, but the energy credit cap increase, that's your main currency, and the shared bank account across your account are probably the two items you would want to get. The way you can get Zen, which is Perfect World's currency, is you earn dilithium. Dilithium here under assets, and refine it. You can only refine 8,000 a day, though. So you'll probably want to create more than one character so you can farm dilithium more quickly and refine it. And then you go to the exchange and you exchange, but it's pretty expensive, but it turns from dilithium into Zen, and then you can use that in the shop without having paid any money in. So again, I will go over rules of the challenge. Can you use officers from other characters if you are going to create characters to, and by the way, you can see the different some of the different rarities here. You have the blue and you have the purple. Performance wise, I haven't really seen that big of a difference, though. You can also see like human male, so it gives their species and whether they're male or female. So if you are creating additional characters, you can send the ones you want to the male to your own account. Is there a male thing in this room? No, there's not. I wanted to show you the tailor, that you would know where you can customize. You can also customize immediately when you get the officers. So the challenge being more about getting the officers than making them viable, means that you could get this pretty quickly without having to worry so much about about whether or not they are capable of helping you perform. But if you want to get officers as a result of, well, you want to build up your resources, which will mean progressing more, all right? Which means you'll want to be able to survive and to beat other enemies. Which means that you'll want officers that are more capable and have the right skills. So, for example, you want engineering that have hull heals and that kind of thing. And I have 2 tactical here and 1 engineering. Usefulness of them on the ship is going to be debatable. Because tactical, when it comes to away teams, though, the AI is kind of funny who it targets. But you can see I have 1 Beta Z female, 1 Saurian female, and 1 Shrill female there. So the way you would send it to different characters, if I hold this here, it will show me to use @bnuts number 2055, which is my username. When you register, it will give you a username with the number after it. That's normal as of years ago, the number. And I forgot to show exactly where the roster was. Go to stations. I have 3 bridge officer candidates there. And you can see Romulan engineer female, Romulan engineer male, Romulan engineer female, and she's purple. And you can also see some of the officers that I have are green, but that's just rarity. As far as performance goes, as I said, it hasn't really affected. Biggest thing that's affecting things is I'm getting significantly. But as you can see from like this character here, this officer, you can customize quite a bit. Although there are restrictions as far as they are defined by species. The ones that are most free to customize are aliens, so you can put pretty much anything you want on them. Although wings is something you don't really have here. This is, after all, a game that's almost 12 years old, and so the engine does have its limitations. So basically, challenge is, though, get into Star Trek Online and customize your captain. Here's my captain for this character for Eva now, and your bridge officers to look like everyone from VShojo. And then if you still want to go further and you have the slots, you have the officers, you can customize them to look like other VTubers and other online friends that you have. And if you get there first, well, I think about brides later. Maybe I'll give the winner some good in-game stuff, as much as I can afford. Some other places where you could get the officers, you could get them over here. On the exchange. As you can see, these are actually Klingon officers, and it says this officer belongs to the Klingon Defense Force Allegiance and will not join to train your crew. Which is also why they're so inexpensive on here, but You can kind of take advantage of that I guess. But those are all male, and then you have Lethians. I don't know how much you can customize them to look. Born, though, are the lizard ones that you might be able to use for Zen. We go further. This is all in EC. And if you need help earning EC so that you can buy stuff and do more training, I can give you some of the winter event currency to put onto the exchange. You can put up to 40 things up on here at once, and they'll stay up for about a week before they expire. So there is an advantage here as far as price goes to the Klingon, but I'm seeing a lot of male officers. That's not going to help unless you're, say, making Noble or Nux. Male. Oh. There are some who are purple and Federation aligned, but they're also male, it seems. No, this one is human female. So that's under 20,000 EC. So fairly good prices. Dorian, but both male. And these are the very rare ones. If you were to change them out to a different one, press search, you would be able to get different results. Yes, there aren't any there. But yes, I will also create a new character and go from it. Oh, epics. You do any. Looks like they start at anyway. But yeah, that's another possible source. I would say let's watch each other's progress and see what we do. By default to start, let's just use the ones that we earn across the entire account will be valid. If we get into trouble, and if it's hard for our character to survive, then we can start dipping into exchange, although you'll need the currency to buy from the exchange anyway. That they're on the exchange means that they're tradable. So you might be able to get them from other characters too, but I don't know about that. There is no trade function, but you can ask other people to send stuff to you through the mail system, just like you can send them to your account. But the idea is to see what it takes to earn officers that look like, well, you and VShojo. And I can show you the characters who I have currently as I go off to the lookout screen, get you a better idea of what I have as soon as it unfreezes. So you see Eva now, she is part of the Romulan Republic faction, and the bridge officers, the main ones that I have beside her. Tian is part of the Jem'Hadar faction, which you can unlock once you get a single account to level 65. Davia is Klingon, and she's also She's also an Orion, which is basically a cyclist. If you look over here, I'll actually go in because you'll get a better look. What the factions affect, because they made it so that regardless of faction, you can fly any ship. It does affect, though, which officers you can get. Because as you saw before, there are some which are defined by their alignment. Then it also affects where your homeworlds are. If you're Klingon aligned, you will be able to access Kronos, but you will not be able to access with space stock. But both can go to one of the stations. So I was going to show you officer. So you'll end up with ones like him. But I did get her as well. She is an Orion. But her, well, you did get some different colors in her hair. So there are some ways in which you can customize them to that extent. Again, you can't customize the holographic, the photonic officers as much, except for her. And I don't know if you can still get her. She is part of the medical promotions event. So she is photonic as it says here, and she is based on an Orion, but I was able to customize her and give her horns and the long ears as well. So it was pretty unusual, but I was able to do that. She's a more standard Orion female, and then you get Klingon. He's a Gorn. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a Gorn female though. Klingon, another Orion, and I gave her kind of an older hairstyle. He's holographic, and I gave him some natty dreads and a wicked beard. See what it says. So you will find stuff like this under the promotions, I believe. So if you go down to healthcare workers sleep bundle, this does say that you could claim. So it should give you the holographic Orion EMH bridge officer, which was the one that you could customize. This is kind of what she looked like before I customized her. So maybe it's still available, but it would only be for Klingon and Klingon aligned. So if you didn't want to do Klingon, you could probably get her by making a Romulan Republic and then align to Klingon. Otherwise, you get Julian Bashir here, who won't help you with your mission. Keep that in mind. The other ones that I can show you, as soon as this loads in, and I will throw back that later. This is one of my original characters, Will, and her crew of mostly bridge bunnies, almost. The tricky thing is, she does have a bullion officer, and they don't have him. But otherwise, yeah. Is my main character who I've been following with the story. Cadibri, who is shorter, one of the shorter scale, and again, mostly female crew. And well, I have for the Delta Recruit event, and she is Riemann, with the Romulan Republic, although currently doing the Tal Shiar missions. Hobbs because I wanted to create a character based on Hobbs from Wing Commander. Is that a helmet? Well, there's a whole bunch of different options, and you can see you don't always get the same officers either. I created him to be like a dwarf. You can see the Gorn again. Zach Dordan. Farming Republic again. Here will come an original series, or TOS, captain. You can see that she has an Andorian and a Tellarite bridge officer. Well, better dwarf, I think, than the Klingon, the Tellarite. Here is a Discovery era. I think what I will do for this challenge is I will go with the original series and make him an engineer. My own captain will be based on myself. So I am at a slight disadvantage in there, even though I have more resources available to me across my account. Another TOS captain. Again, a lot of the same officers, because she's not that far along. She's about the same progress, but she's science instead of tactical. Brianna here is tactical but standard, as opposed to Discovery or TOS. And this is a Saurian officer. It sounds like he should be like dinosaur, but he looks like that. And my first Jem'Hadar officer, as opposed to, well, I don't think my other one was a Gamma recruit, but as you can see, all the Jem'Hadar are male anyway, and you can only unlock them afterwards, after level 65. So probably not quite as helpful. Who should I show before I close this and go back? I think they're the same officer, but I haven't been on hers for a while. And as you can see, you also get the different effects and visuals of the era if you choose a different era. So you can choose Klingon if you want to. It would be a bit of more of a challenge because of the Klingons and Letheans, the way they look, and their customization options maybe aren't as good in some cases. Dropping. Dropping frames, but I seem to be. It says I'm unstable. But in any case, there is my challenge to you. Create characters and a bridge crew based on VShojo designs, based on my bit rate. But I've been fine for most of it. On my Ethernet again. Maybe that will help. Now it says excellent, but now it's having trouble loading in. But while we wait for that, let's press any key again. Yeah, there we go. So there we have my challenge. That's definitely an issue. Just like yesterday with Genshin, I'm having issues that are making the game unplayable while I stream. So I will roll that back and then I'll begin the challenge myself. Oh, and while this challenge is to the ladies of VShojo, so Project Melody, Nanners, Iron Mouse, Hajime Hime, Vebe, Fruit, Zentrea, all of them. You can feel free to join in the challenge too, even if you're not part of VShojo. Even if you're not one of their direct friends, and if you are one of their direct friends too, then feel free to take part if you like. I think that it's going to be a fun challenge, and I look forward to seeing the kinds of things people do, because the customization isn't straightforward. You can do all kinds of things with different characters. Assuming, of course, your game wants to cooperate with you. And of course, I do have tutorials that are available to help you be able to play more effectively and more efficiently. What kind of... Oh, because I haven't done it well. So these are some of the winter currencies. And I will put them into my account bank with all the other stuff that I have to make them more readily available. This is kind of a yuppie thing. Account bank, of course, you wouldn't have available until you bought them from the C store. That's not what I clicked on. This is literally unplayable like this. What I wanted to do. This, because I dragged it back. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording, the stream, and clean this up, and then roll back the update so that I can actually play. So I will be back. But challenge issued. See you later.